Welcome, this is Automotive Anonymous, and that's the all-new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. And overall, it really is a great vehicle, and I'm glad it exists, but it's not perfect, and I found 7 issues I need to share with you guys. I'm not here to diss on it, but to identify deficits or design disappointments I've found for potential owners, things you might want to know before you order one or commit to it. So before anyone prematurely takes offense to this and heads to the comments section, please hear me out. This is going to stay as objective as possible. I've driven dozens of Crosstreks, Outbacks, and Foresters, and I've formerly owned a Crosstrek for 2 years and 40,000 miles, and I've currently owned an Outback Wilderness for 2 years and about 30,000 miles. So let's dive right into this. Big thanks to Twin Falls Subaru for letting me borrow theirs for the day. I'll link it below if you're interested. Otherwise, here are my 7 gripes or 7 concerns. My first issue with it is, quite frankly, it's just not as good or comparable to the Outback Wilderness or the Forester Wilderness. The regular Crosstrek is basically a lifted Impreza, which is a $20,000 chassis and vehicle. The Wilderness is just a much more off-road capable and cool version of that, with some mildly upgraded components. But when you drive it, it's noticeably not a better base vehicle, or in the same category as the legacy-based Outback or the Forester chassis and body. It's essentially a super done-up version of a $20,000 Impreza. And speaking of price, these MSRP are $32,000 before destination and any extra options that you may want. So for that price, you really should consider the Subaru Forester Wilderness. For just $3,000 more, in my opinion, you get a better infotainment system, front and larger rear camera views, rear vents, a full-size spare tire, a stronger roof support system, a huge panoramic sunroof, reclining back seats, better visibility, power driver's seat, and then it's a better built insulated vehicle. Some of them even have a heated wheel and more safety because it's a top safety pick plus rather than just a top safety pick. The third issue is there is way too much black plastic cladding, and that statement speaks for itself. Look at the wheel wells, look at those arches. They're quite a bit higher than the second gen was. It just keeps going further back away from where they actually need to be protective. Now it's just following the curvature of the front fender. What the heck is up with that? It's kind of like a receding hairline that just keeps getting worse with age. And then the doors. Why is there a vertical foot of cladding? I could understand that if that was optional, if people wanted that, but that shouldn't be factory equipment. It's bad enough that the front and rear bumpers are basically only plastic cladding. And furthermore, Subaru really is offering some beautiful paint colors for the 3rd generation Crosstrek, like this sapphire blue pearl. Pretty soon, all you're going to be able to see is cladding. It's going to look like a turtle shell, probably by the 5th generation of the Crosstrek. The 4th issue is miles per gallon. It should be better. It needs to be better. This Crosstrek is only lifted basically ½ an inch, and a lot of that probably comes from the more aggressive tread on the tires. So why did it take a 4 mile per gallon hit at highway speed? The engine doesn't make excessive torque, so the heavier Geolander tires really eat up a lot of the power from the extra rotational weight that they have to produce. But seriously, 4 miles per gallon worse than a Crosstrek Sport, which this isn't that much more capable than? Why, Subaru? I think that's a little bit excessive. My next issue is the lack of options, both standard and optional. This is 34 grand as sits. As you can see here on the sticker, it really just has the basic upgrades. It doesn't have the power moonroof, power seat, Harman Kardon speaker system. But even without that, where is the power liftgate? Where is the full-size spare tire? What about the front-facing camera? It doesn't even have a legit skid plate. I feel like we're kind of getting gypped or cheated for this Crosstrek model. What do you think? Comment below. Issue number 6 is that there's only the CVT option, which it is better. It is upgraded for this Wilderness trim level, and this is more of a 3rd generation Crosstrek complaint in general. But there's no more manual option on the base or the premium. All you get is the CVT automatic. And for a lot of car enthusiasts, I think offering a manual, especially when you already have it in the inventory, in the parts department, I think that would have been worth including. My 7th issue is more specifically this 11.6 inch infotainment screen. It's slow. It takes a while to fire up. I don't think it's better than the system like the Forester. And right now, while it's not even fully turned on, I can't even turn off the AC that's blowing. You always have to turn off auto start stop. It usually works, but it's kind of slow. You do have some widgets up top, so it does look cool. It presents well. But your X mode options are up there. You can't even turn traction control off with the physical button anymore. Everything is through the screen. You have some controls for climate, but a lot of it to really change, a lot of it to really go through is through the screen. And I don't think playing around right here while you're trying to look at the road is the safest option. I know after having driven so many of these in my own Outback Wilderness, I don't like this screen. I wish it had the Subaru Forester screen. Furthermore, the backup camera quality really isn't that good. It is distorted a little bit with this plastic protective covering on this screen, but honestly, the quality of it for a $34,000 vehicle, I do think should be a little bit better. Overall, it is a good vehicle and it is what it is. But after driving one for my review video, I felt the need to take another one out to do this 7 issues video to share some of the things I've noticed, the disappointments or disadvantages I found with this Crosstrek Wilderness over something like the Forester Wilderness. So I may just be crazy, but that's my perspective, and based off of what I care about in a vehicle, at least of this nature, the Wilderness trim level, it's slightly smaller than the Forester, but not by much. The Outback Wilderness, with its much more upscale features and offering, in my opinion, is worth 10 grand more than this. If I was going to buy another Crosstrek, I personally see a better value for the price in any of the other trim levels, especially the base, and especially the Sport or the Limited. But that might just be me. So keep in mind, this video is about my perception of the value that the Crosstrek is. I do think it's a good vehicle overall. I think if this is what you want, none of those reasons are anything to deter you from buying one, but I do think you should be aware of what some of the common concerns or thoughts are that people buying Subarus might want to know about. For some people, these could be issues or reasons to not buy the Crosstrek, especially at $37,000 with the fancy optional package. At that price point, you're really paying a lot of money for what is basically a loaded, lifted Subaru Impreza. But if my video is helpful or insightful to any of you guys potentially considering buying this platform and you wanted to know a little bit more, please consider liking this video, help it get shared, show your support if you don't mind. Otherwise, subscribe if you want to watch more. I post a couple times a week. There's a lot of Subaru content in general. And thanks for hearing my gripes, and I hope they help you in your future decisions. At least what to be aware of when looking at one of these vehicles. Take care until the next one. See you guys.